So there are tons of different dishes in here. And I'm gonna show you guys how to wash the different kinds of dishes. Super cute cups, plates, spoons, all kinds of stuff. So I say let's just dive right in and get these dishes clean. So first, to get started with your dishes, you're gonna wanna start with a sponge, and that's like a kitchen sponge. I'm using this kind here. I don't actually know what brand it is, but it's a pretty, average sponge. It's got like a scratchy side on one side and a more, squishy side on the other, like you'd find in any kitchen or bathroom or any kind of household sponge. You're gonna wanna get it nice and wet, and don't worry about how wet the dishes get. That water is just going to work away at all of that grime and gunk that's on the dishes and just help you in the end. So let those soak in a nice tub of water. All right, so I filled the sink with hot water, got the sponge nice and wet, and I'm gonna go in with my Dawn Ultra 3 times more grease cleaning power in the original scent. You guys can see that. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I got the big bottle because it's just like lasts longer, and you're gonna wanna use this a lot. I like the original scent because it's blue and I like the color blue. You can go with whatever kind of scent that you want. You can see that it is blue, but it will, see, it kind of goes like a translucent. It'll wash away. It won't stay blue. So don't worry about the color on that. But go ahead and put that on your sponge. Squeeze it like that. And then you want to just go in like a circular motion. I kind of like go with just the scrubby side and just really get in that plate and really scrub it up. You're gonna wanna make sure that you don't only just get the front of the plate, but also the back and the sides, just because it's all kind of gross, and like, you're gonna wanna like use that plate later, and you're gonna want it to be clean, you're gonna want it to be ready to use, so it's not all like bacteria-y and gross. You might get sick, and yeah, like that's just not good. And so gonna want to make sure you just wash every side of that plate, get it really nice and clean. So next up, I'm washing this jar, and these are jars that like I drink out of. These are canning jars, but they also work really well as cups. And you can see that I'm kind of, you put your hand like a paddle, and I kind of squeeze the sponge like this, and I put it inside the cup, and I go around like that. And I really put a lot of pressure on there because I want it to get really nice and clean. I'm getting the outside of the lip down, even the bottom of the glass, getting that whole glass nice and clean so it's ready to use next time. Okay, so the next thing you might find in your sink are like knives or silverware, like a spoon maybe. And these things are really important to get nice and clean, but you can get a couple of them at once, and be careful with the knives. I take the sponge with my hand like that, and I squeeze it, I can sandwich it together, and I just rub the utensil down the handle and put it in the other sink. And with the knife, always with the sharp side facing away from you, rub the knife up, rub the handle, and place it in the other sink there. And like, you can go and do that with a pizza cutter, around the pizza cutter, down the handle, and then in the other sink. Bowls too, they're a lot like plates. You just have to really get that inside lip, get the outside rim like that, the bottom of it, until it's nice and like lathered. And that lather is fine to let sit there for a little bit. You don't want it to sit too long, but you are gonna want to rinse that off. no more than like, I wouldn't leave that on for like no more than like 10 minutes. Like, we're not baking here, girl. Okay, so that's like the basics of like doing the dishes that I have in front of me here. And there's a lot of dishes in front of me here. So I'm gonna go ahead off camera and finish these dishes up, and I'll be back and show you how I rinse them and how I organize them in the drying rack. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm back, and this should be the final product. And if your product doesn't look like this, don't worry about it. Like I said, I'm not an expert. This is just how I do it. This is how I recommend you wash dishes. But, you know, the sink is nice and clean, all our dishes are nice and stacked, and we're just ready to have food for the next meal. So I realized in my last tutorial on how to wash dishes that I did